As we sit here this week, we saw a record number of hospitalizations, adults and children. We've seen the infection record broken. I think a lot of people are scratching their heads and they're wondering, 1 year into this administration, why aren't we doing better in the fight against COVID?
So let me start with saying that people are rightly frustrated with where we are. We're frustrated. We're all frustrated. But I think it's a mistake, and it would be a mistake to suggest that we've not seen great progress. If you think back to March of 2020, we were all wiping down the boxes that we got if we ordered things online. There was no vaccine. Now we have a vaccine, which has proved to be effective, and boosters. Now we have our children back in school. 95% of schools are back open. But we're building back up, we're opening back up, and we are not where we were a year ago.
Let's talk about masks for a second. It's been several weeks now since public health experts have acknowledged that cloth masks, surgical masks, they're not as effective in terms of stopping this new variant, Omicron. Should Americans be wearing KN95 masks or N95 masks?
Well, the CDC is going to be providing us with those guidelines.
But what's taking so long?
Well, the CDC is making their decisions. I don't make the CDC's decisions. But what I will say is what has been clear about the masks is you want to wear a tight-fitting mask. That is clear. And we want to urge everybody to do that. In terms of the N95 masks, they are available. There is a stockpile of I believe, over 700 million of those masks. So the supply is there as necessary and as needed.
At what point does the administration say, you know what, this strategy isn't working, we're going to change strategies? 6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down. And so right now we know we still have a number of people that is in the millions of Americans who have not been vaccinated and could be vaccinated, and we are urging them to get vaccinated because it will save their life.
At what point does the administration acknowledge these people aren't going to get the shot? They're just not going to do it.
I don't believe in giving up on people, Craig. I really don't.
The 500 million tests that have been ordered that are going to be sent to every American, do we know when those are going out?
Shortly, though they're going to go out shortly.
Next week,
They've been ordered. I have to look at the current information. I think it's going to be by next week, but soon, absolutely soon. And it is a matter of urgency for us.
Should we have done that sooner?
We are doing it.
But should we have done it sooner?
We are doing it.
Let's turn to voting rights here for a moment. You were there in Atlanta with the president when he compared those who oppose Democratic-backed voting bills that are currently in the Senate. He compared the folks who oppose those to folks who oppose civil rights. Senator Romney, in response yesterday, he took to the floor of the Senate and he said, quote, "So much for unifying the country." When the president was on the campaign trail in the fall of 2020, he said something. He said, "With Trump out of the way, the vindictiveness of a president going after Republicans who don't do exactly what he says gets taken away." Isn't that exactly what President Biden did in Atlanta on Wednesday?
President Biden took the, I believe, right and courageous step to say that Senate rules should not get in the way of protecting the American people's access to the ballot. And he compared this time to a previous time in our history, which is apt for comparison.
It's not just Republican opposition. It would seem as if this piece of legislation is going to come down to 1 or 2 moderate Democrats. In months and weeks, the administration hasn't been able to convince 1 or 2 senators to come around. How are you going to do that in 2 or 3 days?
If I may, I'd like to contextualize this conversation.
Sure.
Which is, in 2006, in this very town of Washington, D.C., up the street at the United States Capitol, in the United States Senate, 98 of the 100 members of the United States Senate voted in favor of an extension of the Voting Rights Act. It was not a partisan issue. It was an American issue.
But Madam Vice President, how are you going to get it done?
Well, when we have the discussion about who's responsible, I will not absolve the 50 Republicans in the United States Senate from responsibility for upholding one of the most basic and important tenets of our democracy, which is free and fair elections and access to the ballot for all eligible voters.
What about Senator Manchin? What about Senator Sinema?
I don't think anyone should be absolved from the responsibility of preserving and protecting our democracy, especially when they took an oath to protect and defend our Constitution.
Why has the administration not been able to get Senate Democrats on board?
We are not giving up.
No, but the question was why has it taken this long?
But you're acting as though it's over.
Well, I mean,
It's not over.
So it's going to happen by Monday.
I'm saying it's not over, and we don't give up. We don't give up, and we will not give up.
Are we going to see the same Democratic ticket in 2024?
I'm sorry, we are thinking about today. I mean, honestly, that I know why you're asking the question, because this is part of the punditry and the gossip around places like Washington, D.C. Let me just tell you something. We're focused on the things in front of us. We're focused on what we need to do to address issues like affordable child care, what we need to do to ensure.
So there have been no conversations about 2024?
The American people sent us here to do a job. And right now there's a lot of work to be done, and that's my focus.
It sounds
sincerely.
Like you're at least familiar with some of the punditry. I don't know if you've heard that there's been some talk about a Biden-Cheney ticket perhaps in 2024. Did you read that article?
I did not. No, I did not, and I really could care less about the high-class gossip on these issues.